Welcome, everyone. We want to thank you for taking some time out of your day to be with us. Come on, let's get to the root of it.
In these times that we live, we take strides to move forward. We strive to be more, stay strong and be focused. Start a while, we make choices, live or die. Take over starts at the root, and the truth may be hard to swallow. Step one, self-love above anything else. Unlock peace and happiness.
Welcome to At the Root of It. I'm Shannon.
I'm Be More Peaceful.
And how you doing tonight, guys?
What's going on?
Tonight's show is called Poetic Justice, the coldest poets in Jacksonville. Yes,
snap it up.
yes.
Yeah. Poetry etiquette.
See, I'm so in the poetic justice mood. I had to wear the shirt.
Oh yeah, I almost pulled up in the mail truck.
All right,
I was kind of in the mood too. I just ain't had no Janet with me.
I was gonna think about tying my hair up.
Could have. It was Sunday. We could have doors off. Never mind. Go.
Tonight is the first night that we're kicking off Black History Month, and we're happy about that. Even though it starts tomorrow, but we're gonna give you a little preview of how we're gonna go throughout the month with Black History. So I want to just tell you a Black History fun fact really quickly. I wanted to see where it originated, right? So the first Black poet was named Phyllis Wheatley. She was born in 1753 in West Africa, and she died December 5th, 1784. She was purchased and sold into slavery in Boston. She had a couple of books, poems on various subjects and religion and moral. That's the name of the book. And being brought from Africa to America.
We learned about her in middle school and elementary school in Baltimore. So that was dope. I was like one of the. I had heard that name in a long time, but you kind of brought back some memories. So yeah, nice. I do remember that. That's dope. Phyllis Wheatley. Shout out to her.
She had a lot of books, a lot of different books and memoirs, right? We also want to give homage to Amanda Gorman. She is the 22-year-old poet. She spoke at the inauguration,
yeah, man. She did her thing.
2021 inauguration. And she is the first person to be named the National Youth Poet Laureate.
That's dope. Shout out to Shorty.
Yes. And she published the poetry book, The One for Whom Food is Not Enough, in 2015.
I like that.
We just want to play a little clip of the inauguration. It's called The Hill We Climb.
If we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy and change our children's birthright. So let us leave behind a country better than the one we were left. With every breath from my bronze-pounded chest, we will raise this wounded world into a wondrous one. We will rise from the gold-limbed hills of the West. We will rise from the wind-swept Northeast, where our forefathers first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked South. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover in every known nook of our nation, in every corner called our country. Our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade of flame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it.
I like that because one of my mantras every morning is even throughout the day is I'm a walking light of love. So that's I really related to that when she said be the light.
Yeah, be the light.
I say that, so
yeah.
I get you.
Gotta be the light. Got to. If not, we're darkness, and I'm not from the darkness. I don't even derive from that place. So I'm light. Okay. So we're gonna introduce our first guest.
Yes, our first guest, Jay Smith, poet, author, book, the book of real shit. I like that title, The Book of Real Shit. It's a collection of poetry, real life thoughts, Flowers in the Garden. That was published November of 2020. Poetry of Life and Thought, a collection of poetry, life and thoughts. The Book of Real Shit. That was published April 2017. Shout out to her. I actually know her. We're in the same G group, so she's a really, really cool individual.
Nice.
Real down to earth, but she has really, really good energy. She was originally from Toronto, Canada, of Jamaican descent. She has a strong sense of culture, passion, and pride. Started writing at 9 years old. Now that's really dope.
9.
I mean, you really got to love for it, especially if you continue doing that.
Yes, 9.
She has a bachelor's in communications, and she loved serving the community.
Yes.
So everybody, let's give a round of applause for Jay Smith.
We are not super predators. We are our ancestors. We are the light, even in the night. You only speak of protest, but will never call us prophets. The black and the blessed, the revolutionaries who will never see justice.
Welcome, Jay Smith.
Hi guys, happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Oh, you're so beautiful.
Thank you. You too. My favorite movie. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it, and great to start off Black History Month with us. This is one of our newest shows. I've never done this before as far as Black History Month and having a show, so I'm very, very honored. This is iconic. This is going down in the books.
Yes.
Yes.
This is like your inaugural episode,
Yes.
So
Oh man,
go ahead
I wish I knew the music. That's like graduation music.
Yeah,
See, So tell us a little bit about yourself. We know that we have a little bit of background information about you, but it said you started writing at 9. So,
how did you get into writing? At 9 years old, what made you fall into I love writing?
I think, I'm one of those people that are really into zodiac signs. And I am a Cancer. So Cancers, typically we like to go in our shell. And I can't say that I am verbally expressive. But I know when I used to write, that's when I could actually get everything out that was in my mind. So when I was 9, I'd always write poetry in class. My mind would always be wandering, just thinking, overthinking. And I think that was a way for me to kind of just put all of the thoughts in my mind on paper. So at 9, I always loved poetry. I was always inspired by the news, watching documentaries. And I think that was just my easiest form of expression. It just came naturally. I entered a lot of competitions in elementary school. I won a lot of them. And I just knew I just had such a talent and love for writing, for poetry, for literature. It was just something that's really, really fascinating to me. So
nice.
That's nice.
I wonder, do you have anything prepared to recite tonight?
I do. I actually wrote something specifically for this.
Yes.
And I must say, Poetic Justice is actually my favorite movie. And Brandon was telling me about the podcast, and I heard the title. I was like, "Oh, perfect!" So I definitely.
That's what I thought about you. I knew this was when she gave me that idea. I said, "Yo, I have the perfect person for this."
You sure
did. It was like water, and water.
And light. Yes, and light.
just flowed.
I love it.
I think I'm ready to hear what she got.
Yes, let's hear you. So we can snap it up for you, boom.
Thank you. So I actually wrote this specifically for this podcast, and kind of like what you guys were saying is just being beings of light. So one thing, I'm, like you guys said, I'm from Canada, and it kind of never set well with me that we are called Black, because I kind of think Black just references darkness, terror, being scared, So I am a firm believer that we are beings of light. So I always say, Black History Month, I call it Light History Month, because I think there's so much more to us than the darkness that they try to label us as. So this is called We Are the People, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
Thank you.
Right. We are the people, and we are proud and profound. For the entire color spectrum sits in solace on our skin, and in the many places where they only see sin, we see Sister Soldiers and Stokely's, Rosa and Robinson. We see Marcus and Morrison, Hampton and Harper, and Maya Angelou in every shade of her hue. So how could it be that the universe of light would be compared to something that is used to describe night, black? But we are beyond blessed. And it is impossible for infinity to be shrunken by the sunken who want to be right in all of their white and lifted in all of their lies. But my friends, I tell you that it is better to starve in your truth than to taste their tales. For only a fool would feast on food that would give them the side effects to poison their pride. So pick up your panther and fight not with your fist, but with your faith in knowing that we are chosen. And we are for the people because we are the people. Thank you, guys.
Snap it up. Yes. We are for the people.
Because we are the
people.
Trying to throw these snaps at you.
Yes. Love it.
Yes.
Love it.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. I wrote that for you guys, so I appreciate you guys for having me on. I wrote that specifically for this, specifically for Light History Month. So it's really important.
We got a poem.
We got a poem.
You guys got a whole poem.
That's beautiful. Like I
feel so honored.
Like I had it was just
you guys liked it.
Like is an understatement. I love it.
Like,
yeah.
Can we get a copy of that if you don't?
Yes, I will send it to you guys for sure. For Light History.
Yes.
We gotta put that in like a frame or something.
Yes. Yes. Oh my goodness. I thank you so much. So what do you have coming next? You're still promoting your book, Flowers in the Garden, and I love that poem too. And how you was putting the flowers all calmly in the vine.
Yes, Flowers in the Garden.
Yes.
This is my second book. And like I said, it's either I write or I wilt. Just like I said, I'm not really a verbally expressive person, so I do have to write. And Flowers in the Garden is primarily poetry. In comparison to the Book of Real Shit, that is poetry as well as a self-help book. But definitely you could get Flowers in the Garden on my website if you want signed copies, the author, jsmith.com. But you could also get it on Barnes & Noble, Books A Million. Amazon, yes. So it is definitely everywhere. So definitely check it out. If you're into poetry, you're into the arts. My main thing is really just allowing people to be able to take a peek at our perspective. Because I believe that we can't understand each other if we don't understand and respect each other's mind. So you don't have to agree with me, but it's important that you respect my mind, respect my opinion. And I want to be a voice for our people and just spread love and light. That's what we're here for.
I love it.
I love it. And especially because this show is about perspective.
It is.
Yes.
Like everything, whatever topic that we use or we have on our show, it's always about different perspective and different vantage points.
The different vantage points, it's like telling somebody this is a 6 and they're standing from that end, and to them it's a 9. Unless you move in the opposite direction and take a look from their perspective, you won't understand where they're coming from.
Exactly. And that's
to go back to TD Jakes. He said a turtle cannot see how a giraffe can see. Their vantage points are different.
Exactly.
So they'll say danger is coming. The turtle will be like, no, it's not.
That's true. That's true. And that's where you have to respect each other's perspective. And I think we're always on a constant journey of learning. And I think Ram Dass said it best, like our only mission is to walk each other home. So I hope that we walk each other home back to light, back to love, back to God, and back to healing. So I think that's our main goal, is to walk each other home on however that is, through your podcast, through poetry, through a stranger you might meet. So that's the mission. So
thank you so much.
Thank you.
jsmith.com. Right, is that right? J Smith?
The author J Smith. JSmith.com.
The authorjsmith.com.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Please check her out on Amazon, y'all, and all of the other places that she said that she is. Barnes and Noble and
Books a Million.
Books a Million.
Books a Million. She's out there. Go view her poetry. Yes, thank you, J.
so
Smith,
much.
for being
Thank you guys. It was an honor. I appreciate you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now the next guest that we're going to introduce, she could not actually be live tonight due to prior engagements, but we do have a pre-recorded interview, and we would like you to take a look.
As creators, it's our nature to interpret the truth, to express our best, our worst, what heals, what hurts. The universe gave me infinity with my introduction to this ink and we. So scribble on for centuries like William Shakespeare's indestructible vocabulary or Picasso's invincible hues, Billie Holiday's unconquerable blues, or Michael Jackson's bulletproof patent leather dancing shoes.
Introducing my next guest, Miss Ebony Payne-English. I would like to thank you very much for taking time out of your busy day to come and sit down and talk with us today. Really appreciate it and appreciate your work. Just want to give a little introduction. She is an educator, an activist, an author, a poet, a writer. A writer and author is the same thing, but still. A singer, songwriter, and a rapper. When I listened to your music, I was like, oh my goodness. So I welcome you to Afternoon. And before we get into the interview, I just have a little surprise for you.
Okay.
A little message.
Hey, Miss Ebony, I'm so happy that you decided to do this show with us. I'm so sorry that I could not be the host of the show to interview you, but I am so excited and so grateful that you decided to help be a part of our podcast. I just wanted to tell you that it's an honor and a privilege. And I just wanted to talk about how you helped me find my creativity. You helped me find my spark at such an early age. Middle school, I was like 12, 13, and you named me J-Rock. That was my poetic name that you helped me find. Nobody knew how much that after-school program meant to me. I would write during class. I would write on my breaks, walking to the next class. I would write like 6 poems a day. You helped me to dig deep within my soul, and there's not enough thank yous in the world that I can give to show you my gratitude. But thank you for being a part of our podcast, and I can't wait to catch up with you.
Yay. I went and I searched for that picture because I remember.
Oh my gosh.
I remember when she was like, yes, Miss Ebony. Miss Ebony, she renamed me J-Rock, and she went and got that hat made. and she
J-Rock.
For the 2 years that she was in
Yeah.
I forgot the name. I was like Beauclair. No, not Beauclair. DuPont. Thank you very much. I'm like, so long ago.
Yeah.
But that's a great segue into actually who you are, because in your bio, the very first line says, you first and foremost, you're an educator. And I can't even express to you what your input in my daughter's life, especially at that time. It helped her find a voice. Little did we know that my daughter has social anxiety, and that just helped her come out of her shell a little bit more. heightened her vocabulary to out of this world, and just the type of poems that she would write. It was like a 30-year-old wrote them, you know. Like, you've been here before, young lady, but
yes. She's very wise as a child.
Yes.
Yeah, very wise.
Yeah. She's been here before. She has an old soul, and I think that's maybe because she grew with me. As I was growing, she was growing, you know. So, but another thing that I had saw in your bio as well is you said that your students call you Kuangoza, which is Swahili for guide, right? And they call you Mwaza.
I call them Mwaza.
You call them Mwaza, which is Swahili for creative person.
Yeah.
And that is so awesome to me, because I remember when I was 17 years old, well, I'll say from 15 to 17, I was in this choir in Long Island called the Voices of Hope. And we sang a song that it was in English, it was in French, and it was in Swahili. And so I know how to say this one line in Swahili, and it's Nime Kamboliwa Nada Bula Ke Esu. I am delivered by the blood of Jesus. And I actually love that. That's a great sentence to even know in a different language. And I even told it to my daughter. I told it to her, and she was like, "Oh yeah, mommy, may come And so that was a very good thing for me. Do you speak Swahili fluently, or?
I don't speak it fluently. I'm still learning the language. The reason why my students call me Kuangoza is because the word mentor is derived from Greek, on the Greek language, and the person that mentor is derived from was a person named Mentos, or Mentos, and you know, he was a pedophile, so I didn't want my students calling me something reminiscent of that, and so I wanted to go back to our language, to African language, and find something that was befitting. And the word I found was Kuangoza, because I'm just someone who's been where they're trying to go. There's not a hierarchy. I am no better or worse than them. You know, most of my students, we grew up the same way. You know, I'm a young girl from Duval County. I got it out the mud, just like me. And I chose to be a quality product of my environment, but I'm from the same environment that a lot of my youth are. And I never let that fall short on me. You know what I'm saying? I'm absolutely a product of Duval County. And I've made it my life's work to water the flowers in my community so that more of them can bloom and reap for us all to like be better from and nourished from.
And I actually saw some pictures. I believe it was you and your daughter. Y'all painted a basketball court, Blue Tiger.
Yeah, with Nico's a muralist, another teaching artist from Jacksonville, and we were at the Boys and Girls Club at the Bridge, and she was doing a mural on their basketball court. And my daughter, she's an artist; she loves to paint.
Love it.
And so she came and helped with the project, and it was a really amazing time. It's beautiful.
That is beautiful. You know,
that's my daughter. I know you hear her singing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is okay. But you know, when you really hone in on the kids' gifts, it really helps shape them and mold them. Because my daughter knew at an early age that she was artistic.
Yeah.
So she's artistic, not autistic. I want to make sure I didn't get that
artistic.
She's very artsy,
creative.
Yes, creative. And she would always we would get her every Crayola thing, everything known to man, and what that child liked to do was sit there and cut snow. But ultimately, she taught herself how to draw, and she's an artist like that. So now, just a well-rounded person. But I just wanted to go over some of the books you have written as well. Now, Secrets of, is it Maat?
Maat.
Maat, and that is a book of 42 poems, right?
Yeah, it's a 42 poem collection of the it's my interpretation of the 42 laws of Maat.
Okay. I did and the one that I'm actually going to buy when we get off of here is The Random Happenings, because I just really I'm intrigued. A comic book about a strong woman of color who is the superhero, and she wanted to save her kids and wound up saving the world, right? How did you come up with that? I know you gave a little bit in the bio, but for the people who didn't read your bio, like, how did you come up with that?
Well, the main character, and her name is Nyazi, and I wanted to reimagine the Atlantic slave trade because I was so tired of Black history starting there, my Black history lesson starting there when we were slaves. So I wanted to write a story about the time before the people snatchers came and before, several generations were robbed from their homeland. And so the idea of matriarchy, like I don't know anything more powerful than a mother's love. That's right. I don't know anything that can compare to what a mother is willing to do for her children. So when I was imagining that story, I knew it was wrapped and cloaked in the greatness that once was, that still is, in continental Africa, and how that got interrupted. I wanted to tell a story of just how we were interrupted from our way of life. And when we were interrupted, people didn't just stand idly by. There were some who tried to stand up and fight and do what's right. And Nyazi went to what she knew, which was, everything that was taught to her by her mother and her mother's mother. And so she went to her tools and resources, and all she was trying to do was keep her kids from being taken. Right. But she was in that directive with that in mind, but she didn't realize these are all our children. Right. So once she opened her spirit and her energy up to ask, protect my children, right? Because that was the whole world. She protected the whole world. So.
That is so deep.
Yeah.
That is so deep, especially when you think of, I know that I believe that I can't cite it, but I believe that I read that the oldest bones that they found in Africa was in West Africa of a Black woman. Yeah. And, just to know that, and to know that it was a Black woman, her bone just is great. But I'm definitely going to purchase the book. I was when I was reading over your stuff, I was like, that sounds so interesting. Like, even for me to read it to like my grandson, because Jasmine has a son. So and then you were in a play. Yeah, she has a son named Noble.
Yeah. I've been following her journey on Instagram.
Play called On Purpose. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, On Purpose is a one-woman show about 7 women who have all been diagnosed with HIV, including the narrator, which is myself. So it's a one-woman autobiographical story about my journey as a 30-plus single woman that is HIV positive, and all the things that go along in life. And then there's 6 other characters who are also diagnosed, who have 6 other storylines. And it's just, life after diagnosis, what happens. The world moves on. That's what happens. Right. And you absorb this trauma daily. Every time I take my medicine, which is daily, I'm reminded that I have this illness, and it doesn't just go away. It doesn't just stop for me, even if the world pretends like HIV and AIDS is not still, an issue. It's not still killing people by the day. And so I wrote poem about it at first because the stigma was so great that I was too humiliated to share with my best friend.
Right.
When I had been diagnosed, I was too humiliated to share with my family. The only person I could even bring myself to tell was my mother. And the only reason I told my mother because I was afraid I was going to kill myself.
Right.
I was so devastated. And I had to tell my mother, you know, because I didn't trust that secret.
Right.
And like years pass and you think that it's going to get easier to talk about.
Right.
But it's still considered a disease that's like for homosexuals or for whores or for heroin addicts or for homeless people or for unclean people. You know, the face of HIV, when people think of it, then nobody is checking for Black women,
Right.
which are make up a significant number of new diagnoses, and it's real for me. You know, a partner I trusted, gave me something I can never get rid of, and I sat on that for a long time. I wasn't able to talk about it to my dearest friends because I was just too embarrassed to say this is happening to me. And I feel like it's my duty as an artist to, as Nina Simone would say, to document the times.
Right.
And the reality is this is happening, and not just to me, to so many people. So many Black women are going into relationships, being faithful and putting their trust in someone that betrays them. And that, you know, just like kids is something you can't get rid of. Once you have a baby, you're attached to that person for the rest of your life. Right. The same is true for HIV, you know, and it is real. And it's about, you know, trusting, forgiving yourself for being vulnerable, and being open to be in love with someone and trusting of someone and, you know, open to someone and like having to take that journey in the aftermath of the betrayal. So I wrote on purpose about that. It was a way to help not only me cope, but to remove the stigma of the illness. It's something that's manageable, that's treatable, that you can prevent from being transmitted if you would only be brave enough to get tested and deal.
Right, and deal with whatever the test may. Wow, so I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate your transparency, because that's one of the things that people don't want to talk about. That's just like molestation or anything that you feel like is embarrassing or people will be able to judge you. You don't really want to speak about it, and that was one of the reasons why I started at the root of it. And how it all began was basically getting to the root of me, getting to the root of my problems, and exposing, acknowledging, and being as transparent as possible, due to the fact that if I went through it, somebody else went through it too. And maybe them not coping, I'm coping, or that I did cope, and I give you tools to help you get over the different things. You know, mine is abandonment issues and things of that nature. So, you know, it all goes hand in hand, where you just need a support system. You just need somebody to be there. And one of the things about me is the no judgment zone. You know what I mean? It is what I love, and I really, like I said, I really appreciate your transparency. But now we're gonna go to my favorite part, because I'm a music fanatic, okay? Fanatic. And you, my dear, are the bomb. I said, she has a new fan in me. Like, you can let any one of your albums ride straight through.
Oh, you honor me. Thank you so much.
Straight through. Like, you just vibe out. And you'll be surprised. Let me tell you, my favorite albums is between School Beats that was released in August of 2013. Oh my God. If you can see all the notes on here, you can't because of the light, but oh my goodness. I'm like, the tracks are hot. She said she was an educator first. I was like, my favorite is, that's not even the word, but my favorite song off of this School Beats album is The Harmonious Skunk in the
Lovebirds.
Yes, because hello, dear darling. She's like, who are you? But she, Harmonious Skunk and the Lovebirds, teaching the kids about soprano, alto, and tenor. I'm a singer, so I'm like, yes, teach them how to harmonize, baby.
Yeah.
Then tell them about the keys because you are the queen bee. Then you had them exercising and stuff, and
yeah,
get
moving. Yeah. Yeah.
This is a great album. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna play this. It's gonna be a repeat with my grandson. Just letting you know. And
that makes me so happy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ebb and Flow. Ebb and Flow was such, first of all, phenomenal play on words.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal. I was like, Ebb and Flow. Yes, she flows, but ebb and flow of life. I loved it. I absolutely loved everything about this album, from the cover to the water in the cover, in the picture, and the play on words, like I said. Struggles embrace is your activist. That's where you was like, fight the power. Like, I'm coming for you. And I loved it. You can see the different parts of you in your music. And it's just phenomenal. Just really, really, really phenomenal. Old school. Also, my favorite one is Black on Black Rhymes, because I write I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Spoken word with a purpose. Your activist struggles embrace.
I have an album coming March the 7th, my newest.
Oh,
it's ironic because it's actually called Who One Goes Through.
I'm going to check it out. Again, you have a newfound fan, and I'm going to follow you for the rest of your days.
You honor me. You definitely honor me. Thank you.
Well, you're worthy to be honored, because your integrity, your character, your love for the kids, your love for yourself, all of those things, they matter, and they make up the person. And it's something that my daughter said, but you don't just put it on. It's in you. And so I beg you actually to continue your purpose and your walk, because you are awesome. Like, you really are an awesome person. Like, even my producer and director, we love your work. And I mean, so I hope that we stay in contact, so that if you have any shows or anything, I would gladly come and be the loud, obnoxious New Yorker in the front row, screaming for Miss Ebony. Miss Ebony. But I'd like to thank you for taking this time out with us today, Miss Ebony.
It's been a blessing. Thank you so much.
See you really, really soon.
Oh, you will. We family now, so that's that.
With our next guest, Nick Harvey. You want to go ahead and introduce Mr. Harvey?
Yes. Nick Harvey is a man of God, a husband, a father, a comedian, a poet, a rapper, public speaker, and last but not least, or more importantly, an educator.
Yeah, man. Shout out to you, bro. We need more teachers, educators in the
Yes.
world for real. 'Cause
Yes.
especially black male educators, we definitely need a lot.
Someone has to give aid to the helpless and deliver hope to the hopeless. You are to piece together the broken, so I'm gonna need you to focus, and I know that you struggle with loneliness. I understand those women are tempting, but you have to decide, is a night of passion worth another morning feeling empty?
So, Nick, one of the things that I saw with you was you did a print 16 on the 16th that you ended.
Oh yeah, so 16 on the 16th was something I started. Every 16th of the month, I would drop 16 bars. It really would be way more than 16 bars, 16-ish bars. So I did that every 16th of the month for like a year and a half. So I did like 18 of them. And what actually stopped 16 on the 16th was another opportunity that I needed to focus on. And so I had to put 16. Trust me, it was hard to put 16 on the 16th on hold. And here's the funny thing about like me rapping is something that's so new to me, because like people will tell you, like, if you go back to my 16 on the 16th, if you look in the comments, you'll see people who I went to school with, and all of them be like, when did you start rapping? And then people be like, when did you get bars? Because really, I started rapping in my 30s, and really what inspired me to start rapping is I work at a juvenile facility. So of course these young men, they worship rap. So I was doing poetry already anyway. So I decided just to start writing raps for them. And basically it was just a vehicle for the message I was trying to get to them. You know, I can sit up and preach to them. They don't want to hear that. I put it to an instrumental and some bars, and they eat it up. And what they didn't know is, like, I never really took rap seriously, but the kids would encourage me so much. And you know, like when teenagers like what you're doing, you got something, because these kids, they're gonna tell you everything is wrong with you. The kids didn't know they were my biggest encouragement in starting writing raps. They were my biggest encouragement. So yeah, 16 on the 16th is near and dear to me. We're gonna come back with 16 on the 16th. I'm not sure when, but when it comes back, it's gonna be bigger and it's gonna be better.
You really should, because I really like the concept of it. It's really a good concept.
Yeah, that sounds really dope. And the fact that you came out rapping at a later date, and then you found something to relate to the kids, that to use your poetry and translate it to something that relates to the kids while doing it over a beat is really dope. Because like you said, and the fact that they like it makes it even more astonishing. Because just like you said, yeah, they ready to find something wrong in everything. Like, they're gonna be your biggest critics, especially when you older, and it seems like you trying to do something on their level. The first thing they're gonna think is, oh, you trying to do some whack stuff on our level. We don't rock like that. But that's dope that you were able to get them. So I like that.
Yeah, exactly that, man. You know, this newer generation is, they're because of they're born into social media, they're super critical. Everybody thinks too highly of their opinion. Let me tell you my opinion about this, and let me tell you my opinion about that. So like I said, man, with these kids, when I realized they were liking it, I'm like, okay, I got me something here. You know, so.
So with you being an educator, what subject do you teach?
I teach a careers class. I teach careers and business class. So so my program is 9 to 12 months. All the kids got serious charges, all the kids got felonies. So we have them 9 to 12 months based on their behavior. If they don't do what they're supposed to do to get out of the program, they're in it longer. So what I try to make sure they leave with is basic financial literacy and job skills. That's
Nice.
it. I try to lay them a foundation of financial literacy and job skills. I only got a limited amount of time with them, so these are the primary things I try to make sure they leave with. And a lot of the kids, the backgrounds they come from and the life experience they have, they're afraid to dream. So I encourage them just to dream, to believe in themselves. So we got this event coming up on the 15th. I'm actually taking 6 kids. They're going to get professional headshots. They're getting new suits and shirts and ties and slacks. And we actually, a guy who owns a limousine company is giving us the limo for 3 hours. We're going to tour $1 million home, and we're going out to dinner. So that's coming up on the 15th of February. And I put out a Facebook post, man, and the love that people showed, it was over. I'm talking about people I went to kindergarten with. Like in less than 24 hours, people had cashed out me $1,000 for these kids, over $1,000 for these kids.
So at what age did you start writing?
I was in the 9th grade, and I wasn't really taking it seriously. Like when I was in the 9th grade, that's when I really started getting in trouble. And so I had wrote this poem called The System in my English class. And my teacher, who was a white lady, she just went crazy over it. Like she was just like, this is so good. And she started telling people, and before you know it, I was doing it on the local news back home in Jackson, Tennessee. But I never I still didn't take it seriously. I was too busy in the streets and chasing girls and doing drugs, and I didn't write another poem until I was like 27 years old.
Okay, so that's dope. I'm glad you got back into it. I want to say that.
But actually, I started doing comedy when I was 27. And what ended up happening is I would go to poetry spots to do my comedy, and then I started writing poetry because that became my circle of friends. Like Ebony, I know Ebony. I've been knowing Ebony for a long time. And so just being around poets and hanging around them inspired me to start writing. And then when I started writing, people really started taking to my poetry. And then it was I say a few years later, that's when I gave my life to Christ and really started learning who God was. And as I learned who God was, I started learning who I was and realized that, you know, the writing is part of the gifting that he gave me. So now I write comedy, I write poetry, I'm in the middle of writing a book, movies. I'm just a writer all around. And writer and a talker. That's what I do. I write and I talk.
Did you hear anything to say on the show?
Yeah, I have something I could do. This is called It's Too Much. 400 years working your fields and you want me to forget about it. You say that you don't want to hear about it. You tell us we're the problems. It's more like you're the manufacturer and we're the product. Cause you're oppressing my people still to fill your pockets. A crooked system says if I go to prison, you get the profit. You removed our chains and exchanged them for felony. So what you telling me? Cause I was selling weed, now you selling me. See the wickedness in businesses benefiting from sentences. Paint us as the villains while you reeling in the dividends. I'm guilty till I'm proven innocent. Did my prison bit, but once again I'm living as a second-class citizen. I paid my debt to society, but no one could hire me. This playing field ain't level, don't you lie to me. You wonder why my attitude is fiery? It's all this anger and pain built up inside of me. Cause this is too much. Hey, I said it's too much. What y'all doing is too much. And we just trying to move up. And you wanna remove us. Hey, I said it's too much. What y'all doing is too much. And we just trying to move up. But you want to remove us today. Another unarmed brother was murdered by the very person who swore to protect and serve him. A video surfaced, it was disturbing. The man showed his hands, but the public servant was overtly nervous, so he squirted, shot spring out. Instantly, he collapsed by the curb, and before we slipped away, the jury had already reached a verdict not guilty. The officers cleared to return to work. The man's family is left to bear the burden. A tragic situation yielding senseless retaliation nation is crazy, but maybe they felt that was the only way to make a statement. Now we say that we're the greatest, but we paved the way with hatred. This place is racist, will never break away until we face that we were founded on deception. All created equal with a small exception. Make this country great again. When was it great for me? Oh, say, can you see why I take a knee? Cause this is too much. Hey, I said it's too much. What y'all doing is too much. And we just trying to move up. But you want to remove us. Hey, I said it's too much.
I like a bar sandwich.
Well, listen, when the 16 on the 16 come back, I'm gonna shout you out.
Please do. I appreciate it. Yes, I appreciate it. What do you do in the church?
In the church, I am currently serving. Well, actually, COVID shut it down, but normally, I'm in the prison ministry, and I go out to the prisons a couple times a month. Which is really dope, man. It's really dope just going out there, man, for people who, a lot of people, society done threw them away. People done, people done forgot about them. But man, it's I go out to Lauder Prison, man, and it's gold in there, man. It's gold, and not only it's a blessing for me to go. Like I miss it so much. I miss going so much because I don't only go to impart, man. These men, they impart wisdom to me as well. So yeah, that's one of the things. I'm on the senior outreach. See, a lot of things that I was doing in our ministry is shut down because of COVID, because I did the senior outreach ministry. I would go over to Taylor Independent Living Facility for seniors and would do poetry for them, and we would do little events for them and bring them food and stuff. We did that once a month. So man, I'm looking forward to things getting back to normal, where I'm in the trenches, man. I don't just talk about it, and like I'm not one of the people that's just trying to toot my own horn, but I ain't just talking about this. Like I'm out here, man. And I think I want more people to realize just the impact that their lives can have on other people's lives, man. Listen, I'm gonna tell you one of my best rewards I've ever got in life was going over there doing poetry for them ladies, and this lady called me over. She was like, "Come here, baby," and I got over there and she handed me a Werther's original. And man, that Werther's original, listen, I got that Werther's original on my dresser like a trophy, man, because that meant so much to me. She called me over there just to give me one of them Werther's original.
But I really would like to thank you for being on the show today. Please, if you have anything that's coming in the future,
how can we find you? Yeah, how can we find you?
Just find me on Instagram. My handles is Nick is Funny. Nick is Funny on Instagram. Nick is Funny on Facebook. I ain't got no TikTok yet. I feel like I'm too old for TikTok. But yeah, just find me on Instagram at Nick is Funny. And I'm trying to do better with social media, man. As a comedian, people always want you, like, right in this day and age, people don't even care if you're funny. When they book you, they just want you to have X amount of followers on social media. So I'm trying to build my content on social media right now. But
you know all about it.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys do.
I thank you for joining us today. You have a great night.
You too.
And thank you for being on Active.
All right, y'all. Y'all enjoy y'all evening.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or any crowd participation before we get out of here tonight? I see that we have Jasmine, Roger. Hey, that's my niece. Hey, Shawnee.
Okay. She said she was inspirational. That's dope. I like it.
Yeah, I think she was saying it.
Nick was talking about
Jay Smith, I think.
Okay.
Was that Jay Smith?
I think that was that. It might have been when Nick was right.
Latifah. Tange, good evening. Thank you, Shawnee. You like my shirt?
That shirt is hard, though.
Thank you.
Got going on. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
And Miss Natifa, everybody saying good evening. Hey, niece. Oh, that's your aunt?
No, that's she's talking to Jasmine.
Oh, okay. She was talking to Jasmine. That's dope. Okay. Well, thank y'all so much. We're going to go ahead and
stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
What? They're about to watch the video, right?
The video.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
These times that we live, we take strides to move forward. We strive to be more, stay strong and be focused. Start a while, we make choices, live or die. Take over starts at the root, and the truth may be hard to swallow. Step one, self-love above.
Hey guys, this is Shannon.
And your boy B More, aka your spiritual specialist.
From At the Root of It.
Yo.
And we are coming with a surprise.
Great exposure opportunity for our viewers.
Yes. It is called the Viewer's Choice episode.
The Viewer's Choice episode. What we need you to do, we need all of you out there to hit us with your best topic idea for a show.
The best. And I mean, you really have to really dig deep and come up and be creative.
We need you to get it from the root, touch it from the soul, okay? The one with the best idea will get a great opportunity to be on a live taping of that show. This will be your show. So we need the best idea.
The best idea.
All right, so y'all make sure y'all stay tuned for the instructions right below. They're going to give you all the details, all right?
Bye.
Yeah. Wisdom as we grow, and we know a lot more now than we did before. Simple facts. Just acknowledge, move forward, reach for more. One step in front of the other, gotta reach the door. Gotta know for sure. Only you alone, mind, body, and soul. Ultimate control. As the truth unfolds, at the root.
Let's get to the root of it. Gotta get to the root of it. Let's get to the root of it. Gotta get to the root of it. Yeah.
That was the Viewer's Choice commercial. We want you guys to please share that commercial. We want to hear from the people.
Submit.
So that we can get other people's ideas, show ideas. Maybe we want to speak about something that's really dear to your heart. And we would love to have you on the show. So please tag and share people that you might think would want to be on the show.
Yes. Crowd participation is everything.
Everything. We really enjoy you guys, and we enjoy our viewers and our audience that logs on every day.
Thank you all so
every
much.
Sunday night at 7 p.m.
Thank you.
So we'll see you next week.
Next week
at 7 p.m.
sharp
Eastern Standard Time.